Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Yesterday, a man who once said the filibuster has been abused to stop reforms supported by the vast majority of Americans, from background checks to protecting the right to vote. We must stop this abuse of power.
Oh.
Get rid of the filibuster.
What great man said that?
Cory Booker said that, and then he set the record for the longest filibuster in American history. Here's some of his more theatrical Jimmy Swagger televangelist riffing during his 25-hour rant.
To call to the conscience of this nation, to say, I will not stand for another American to lose their health care for a billionaire. I will not stand for another veteran who's dedicated to stopping the suicide of other veterans to lose their job. I won't stand for the air quality in my community to be made worse because they're letting polluters pollute more. I won't stand for the collective assaults on the Constitution by a man who even the highest judge in our land, a Republican-appointed judge, said stop threatening and bullying other branches of government. When is it going to be enough? My voice is inadequate. My efforts today are inadequate to stop what they're trying to do. But we, the people, are powerful. We are strong. We have changed history. We have bent the arc of the moral universe. And now is that moral moment again. It's the moral moment again. God bless America. We need you now. God bless America. If you love her, if you love your neighbor, if you love this country, show your love.
We have sinned.
Touch the TV and you shall be healed. Well,
okay.
This guy's a hero,
right.
Dan. He fasted for days so that he wouldn't have to go to the bathroom during his 25-hour-long filibuster. He's a real hero, and he said that he stopped eating on Friday, stopped drinking on Sunday, the night before he started on Monday, and he was cramping during those 25 hours.
Menstrual. And he also dedicated the filibuster to Rosario Dawson, his pretend girlfriend.
Oh, I remember that.
And then I also saw this story. Cory Booker staffer was arrested at the Capitol for carrying a pistol without a license. T-Bone? Anybody? Was that T-Bone? Is T-Bone back? Is T-Bone back in Cory Booker's life? This is, I mean, that's the kind of... I don't know. Is this what I know? The Wisconsin State Supreme Court result is going to put a little kick in the step of the new Marxists. But is this any better than Pagliacci Schumer leading rallies or former NIH director Francis Collins singing '60s protest songs? I don't know if this gets it done to re-energize the new Marxist party, but. Perhaps for more on this topic and the results in that Wisconsin State Supreme Court race I mentioned, Rich Lowry joins us, editor of National Review, author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, if you can wipe away the tears after listening to Cory Booker, pull yourself together. We appreciate it.
I don't know what was more compelling, the cliches or the faux emotion. It was really quite a performance. I didn't realize he was cramping. It would have been great, like a football player. He had to go down on the ground, and a coach medic came out and stretched his legs.
Yeah, stretch out his calf.
Carted off the Senate floor.
Yeah, it couldn't have been any members of his caucus because they're all 90. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did this because he wants to run for president in 2028, right?
We all do. We all want him to run.
Yeah, he's so pathetic, though. There's never any substance or anything to what he does. It's so Cory Booker to do a non-filibuster for 25 hours. There's no legislation. There's nothing he was stopping. He was just talking for 25 hours.
He had a lot of things that he wanted to say. He feels things deeply, Rich, and he has to get it out.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, if all this the drum circles for RIFT, 0.15% of the federal workforce that got RIFT, and Francis Collins' original compositions, and Cory Booker speechifying and vandalizing Teslas. If that's not going to work, then what do you think that, to the extent there are identifiable serious people on the left, are thinking? Perhaps, as I said, buoyed by yesterday's result in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to save them is we have a two-party system, so parties just never go away, and there's always a reaction to the party that's in power. And we saw it last night. Republicans held the seats in Florida, but the margins were smaller, and they lost in Wisconsin. And this is just the way it goes. Republicans are going to lose the House. With almost certain they're going to lose the House. It's just the way it goes. It's a natural reaction. And then you see, if you figure something out as the out party, it's a presidential candidate who figures it out. So is there someone more compelling than what seemed to be the current crop? Is there someone with an interesting theory? You know, when you win the presidency, you're like Trump or Obama, you come up with a whole new way of doing it. So who's going to do that on the Democratic side? We won't know that for a couple of years.
And it's so in terms of Wisconsin, and as you say, the smaller margins in victory margins in Florida as compared to, say, how Trump did in those congressional districts in November. You just think that's just part of the cyclical nature of things. Yeah. It doesn't really say anything about the Republican Party or the viability of the Trump agenda or anything like that.
No, man, I've been through this so many times now. You know, I've been doing this for like 30 years, and every special election after a new president's in, it's like, oh my gosh, he's in such trouble because his party lost this special election or underperformed. It's just the way it goes. And now there is this interesting phenomenon that Republican voters are now lower propensity voters than Democrats. So to the extent, people say, oh, Republicans are engaged in voter suppression, they're making it harder for people to vote. Well, if we are doing that or not, it's going to affect our people more than theirs now. So they have the people who like to vote more and do it more often. And also, just when Trump's not on the ballot, it's tough for Republicans now. He gets those marginalized voters out. If he had been on the ballot last night, they would have won those Florida races by their custom margins and very well may have won in in Wisconsin, sorry. But if he's not on the ballot, it's just hard for Republicans to get their people out.
Do you analogize this at all? We were talking about it a bit earlier in the program, and I sort of said, like it was reminding me of and seeing this happen again and again with Trump over the last almost decade now. It reminds me of Reagan Democrats. There was a reason they were called Reagan Democrats, because they were Democrats who liked Reagan. It didn't mean that they became Republicans or were going to be in lockstep or turn out for every election for for rank and file Republican candidates.
Yeah, they're these marginal voters, and Trump went and got them in really unusual ways last year, right? He goes on all the podcasts. So he needs not like the old white lady from the country club to vote so much. Still needs her to some extent. He needs the guy who's sitting on his couch with a bong on his coffee table and an OnlyFans account to get to come out and vote. Right?
Perfect. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, he's not doing it for Brad Schimmel, but he's doing it for Trump, and because Trump's different and interesting and entertaining the way no other Republican or politician on the planet is.
Do you think if Elon Musk came out earlier than rather the weekend before the election, that this would have had a different outcome?
I think it was probably a bad idea for him to go personally, but it was a good idea for him to fund it. There's this line of analysis of Democrats have overcome Elon Musk's millions, but he only came in because Democrats were massively outspending the Republicans because they had all the support from their billionaires. So he was just counteracting a financial advantage they had. But I think it was unhelpful for Elon to make it about him because that just gins up the other side. I just would have done the organizing and the finance without showing up in the cheesehead hat, although the guy is he's as close as you get to Trump as an entertainer with instantly iconic images, right? Who can resist a picture of him in a cheesehead hat?
What do you think if he would have given all 600,000 cheeseheads who voted for Trump in either 16, 20, or 24, if he would have given each one of them $1 million? Would that have helped?
Maybe he would have done
or 1,000 each. That would have gotten him. I mean, it's so hard to wrap your head around why they just stay home. All those people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, that voted for Trump in Wisconsin, and they didn't go out yesterday for
Because
bread.
they're smoking dope and they're on their
Okay,
OnlyFans
fine,
account. You just
Dan.
heard the
They
profile.
have more important things to do. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a special election for a Supreme Court seat, and that's not very interesting compared
not
to
sexy
a
enough.
big national election,
Yes.
right? With Trump in it.
All right, maybe Brad Schimmel should have got an OnlyFans account. I'm still wrestling with that profile being, sort of how Western civilization rises or falls based
those
on
are
that
people,
demographic.
yeah, those are-
Yeah. What? So the Trump policy agenda and how things are going on the big ticket items, meaning border security, the DOJ effort. And some of the cultural issues too, and I guess certainly what's happening in the Rose Garden today, tax and spend policy. So fold the Doge into that. What's your assessment 70 days in?
Well, a huge success at the border. Right now, it needs to be sustained with some policy changes and some more resources. But that was, he promised to get peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. But this was something I always thought he would do in 24 hours, and he did. Shutter the border. That's a fantastic success. The anti-DEI stuff, which is still ramifying around the country as we speak. University of Michigan, that went in hugely, more than any other school for this stuff, is rolling it back and tearing it up. That's just hugely important. DOJ, I think directionally, it's all correct. I think that the implementation's been a little chaotic, and you got legal issues. So we got to wait until the dust settles to see where that is. And I'm concerned about the tariff. I think I'm old school. I think tariffs are tax increases. I think the uncertainty around this has been bad, and it's going to be, it's not going to cause a recession necessarily, but it's a suppressant on the economy, and people really care about prices. So I think that's the big political criticism I would make. Prices was a huge issue for him in the campaign. He promised to lower them. And then as soon as he was elected, he's like, you know what, it's really hard to deal with prices. And then he has this policy with tariffs that's going to increase prices. So that's the biggest political risk in my mind.
Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And he, joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-developers of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Virago was formulated to boost your immune system to fight off the viruses that you encounter every day. I made Virago into a liquid formula to improve the absorption and to provide a rapid response for your immune system. Taking Virago every day helps your immune system fight off all types of daily assaults. Go to